Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max, I'm going to do the back glass replacement on this device and show you everything that you need to know. Indeed, with the new design, the replacement of the back glass has become easier, but it is not simply remove the back and install a new back. Before you can remove the back glass, the broken back glass on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, you need to hit the back glass. I hit this one for 53 seconds using the highest setting on my hit gun with the fan speed at 50%. So it is time to pry out the back glass at the bottom of the device, and I'm using a suction cup in order to help me lift a small section of the back glass first. But with this one being badly broken, I'm not sure if it is going to work. But I tried, it didn't work, so I use a smaller suction cup in order to help me lift one side of the broken back glass, a side that does not have any crack. I tried that one also, but it doesn't work, and I will be using my green scalpel in order to create a small opening between the back glass and the frame of the device. So this one being the infamous titanium blue, you need to be careful while inserting the blade not to leave any scratch on the body. It is very fragile. So here's the small gap created between the broken back glass and the frame of the device. So this had to happen. So this is something that I really do not like with the new iPhones, the 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max. The back glass is very brittle and it does get cracked every time you try to remove or lift the back glass on the back of the device. So while doing this, make sure that you're very careful not to cut yourself. So once I have the opening, I can insert my guitar pick and continue removing the back glass from the body of this iPhone 15 Pro Max. The other issue is that the wireless coil, the flashlight, and the external microphone is glued to the back glass, and the back glass is getting cracked each time I try to move the guitar pick around. So this might be an issue and might even damage the wireless coil and all those that are glued on the back of the back glass. So currently I'm just dipping the blade inside alcohol and moving the blade around the double-sided tape and insert the blade between the double-sided tape and the broken back glass in order to lift that small section of glass out of the frame. So now that I have one big piece of glass in front of me, I can insert the guitar pick and try to continue with the guitar pick only. So in the end, I decided to break that piece of glass because the guitar pick was not able to move beyond that part. So after I broke that piece of glass, I have now enough space in order to insert the guitar pick and continue moving toward the cameras. So before that, I inserted the blade in order to have a new opening right below the broken back glass. Now that the guitar pick has been inserted, I can start moving the guitar pick toward the cameras, and in order to make it very easy, I added a little bit of alcohol on top of the guitar pick, just enough in order to have the alcohol on the guitar pick touch the double-sided tape on the back of the device. After using the guitar pick, I was able to detach that piece of glass from the body of the device, but I'm stuck around the cameras now. So in order to continue, I broke the glass that I just lifted, and then I am going to insert the blade right below the broken glass, that is the big glass for the cameras. So in order to help me do this faster and easily, I just dip the blade inside alcohol and insert it right on top of the double-sided tape that goes around the camera bezel. So now it is time to use the guitar pick in order to remove that small section of the camera bezel out of the frame of the device. So at this point, you've seen me remove the bottom, the left side of the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and the top. So now I'm trying to see if I can simply pull the back glass and remove it without working on the other side, the right side. The right side is the side where you have the flex cable for all those components that are attached or glued to the back glass. So after looking at the iPhone 15 Pro Max at this moment, I was not able to remove the back glass doing what I said. So I'm going to remove the other piece of broken back glass that is on the top of the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So you need to be careful and make sure that you remove all the broken glass on the top, at the bottom, and on the left side while looking at the device from the back, because the cable running glued to the back glass are very small and they can get cut while you try to remove the broken back glass. Especially you have the flashlight which is very close to the top of the device, so there is a cable running on that area. So this is why I made sure that I removed everything at the top, bottom, and on the left. So right now everything should be good in order for me to simply open the device. I use my green scalpel in order to push the back glass from the frame of the device, and while doing that, look at the inside to make sure that everything looks good and there is no damage that has been done. So at this point, you just need to open the back glass, push the back glass away from the frame of the device, but do not overdo it because you still have the cable that is attached to the back glass and connected to the motherboard. There is one screw holding a retaining plate that is covering the flex cable for the wireless and all those other stuff. You need to remove that one screw, remove the retaining plate, then you can disconnect the cable that is coming from the back glass. Once that has been done, you can simply pull with a little bit more force in order to remove the back glass completely out of this iPhone 15 Pro Max. I took my time to explain all this because it is very easy to damage the flex cable on the back that is glued to the back glass of this iPhone 15 Pro Max, and especially with the glass breaking out of nowhere while you're trying to remove the back glass out of the frame of the device. So the next step will be to clean the inside of the frame of this iPhone 15 Pro Max, remove all the residual glue and remove all the broken glass that are still on the inside of the device. So while removing the double-sided tape that is still on the frame of this iPhone, you need to be careful at this area because there is an open flex cable there. If the blade go in that area and cut it, you have a big problem. At the bottom also you have some opening and you can see some flex cable on that area. So if you cut those one also, you have a big problem. So when I say big problem, you see all these flex cables are on the inside of the device and you will need to remove all the component in order to access or find the component that got cut and replace it. Here also there is an open flex cable, careful. After all the cleaning, you need to start working on the back glass, the broken back glass, and remove the component that need to be transferred onto the new one before you can complete the reinstallation of the new back glass. For the external microphone, you need to remove 2 screws, then you remove the retaining plate, and you have access to the external microphone. At the top for the flashlight, there is only 1 screw to remove, and after that you can remove the retaining plate that is covering the flashlight. So before I start removing all these components out of the old back cover, you need to blow some hot air on the back of the back cover in order to soften the double-sided tape that is on the back of these flex cables. Then use one of your tools in order to push the flashlight out of the slot, the camera bezel. After the flashlight is no longer inside the camera bezel, you can grab it by hand and start pulling slowly in order to detach the flashlight and the flex cable out of the body of this back cover. In theory, this is how it should be done, but you can see that the flashlight is attached to a piece of glass that is completely broken. So I decided to start at the bottom and move up. I was able to remove all the graphite tape that was around the charging coil, and I stopped right before the flex cables because the flex cables are on top of the graphite tape. So now I can start lifting the wireless coil that is attached to the back glass. So while doing this, make sure that what just happened does not happen to you because it might just cut the external microphone and you will need to replace all these things that are on the back of the back glass. Currently, I'm just going to remove the external microphone out of the camera bezel. That way, I will not have to worry about the camera bezel that is already broken and pulling on the external microphone. Next, I'm going to remove the small metal frame that goes below the external microphone out of the camera bezel. You will need to transfer that metal piece onto the new back cover. So back to the flashlight situation, I'm trying to pull the flex cable of the flashlight away from the graphite tape. So now that has been done, I can keep pulling on the flex cable and remove all these components out of the broken back glass. So after you remove the flashlight flex cable, going back to the external microphone flex cable and up to the big flex cable in the middle, you need to go back at the bottom and start lifting everything from the bottom going up. So this way it is easier to remove everything without damaging anything. So before you do the reinstallation on the new back glass, I advise that you put some glue on the 2 outer wires for the wireless coil. These 2 are not glued to anything and it can get mixed up around the wireless coil. So if you use super glue, it is going to hold those 2 pieces of wires in place. They need to be on the outer edge of the circle. And after you've done that, we can start the reinstallation of the wireless coil, flashlight, external microphone on the new back cover. The only other component to transfer is the metal piece that goes right below the external microphone. I added a little bit of super glue on that area, just enough for this piece of metal to stick in place. So now it is time to do the installation of the wireless coil, flashlight and external microphone. You need to start with the flashlight because it is the one at the top. After you've done the flashlight, you can start applying pressure on the flex cable to stick on the back of the back glass, and then you continue on the external microphone and you will do the same for the other component at the bottom. So here's everything after the installation. All the components have been installed. The only thing missing is the returning plate for the external microphone and returning plate for the flashlight. Now that everything has been installed, we can move to the next step. You will need to connect the cable to the motherboard first and test everything before you continue with the final completion of this installation. You can test the wireless charging and also the flashlight. The external microphone should work if the flashlight is working. All good. The next step is to add the returning plate and have the screw on it. Since I do not have a double-sided tape for this iPhone 15 Pro Max, I'm going to use B7000. It can work also. I added the B7000 all around the sides of this iPhone 15 Pro Max. It is time to do the final installation of the back glass on this device. In order to avoid breaking the back glass and doing this thing all over again, you will need to install the top of the back glass first. You apply pressure to the top of the back glass and the frame of the device. Then you go at the bottom, you do the same thing. You make sure that the pins at the bottom go inside the frame of the device. Once that has been done, you can start applying pressure on the sides of the device. Next, I'm doing the installation of the repair clamps on this iPhone 15 Pro Max in order to have constant pressure on the back glass and the frame of the device. You can leave the repair clamps as long as you want, but usually after 20 minutes, it should be good to remove and assess the device. Since I use B7000, I did have a few spill of B7000 on the back of this iPhone. The easiest way to get rid of all the spill of B7000 on the back of your device, you need to simply rub on it with your finger until the B7000 disappears. That's it. So currently it is all done. The back of this iPhone 15 Pro Max looks like new now. Thank you for watching. Share the video to one of your friends and I will see you next time.